Blake Lively says Baldoni allegedly added extra sex scenes and discussed his personal, intimate life with her, and that when she raised concerns, he tried to silence her. This morning, Baldoni's team.
The beginning of a Hollywood storm in late 2024. The entertainment world found itself colliding with the legal system in a way rarely seen before. What began as quiet whispers behind the scenes of a film set soon escalated into a legal battle, so massive that it threatened to shake the foundations of Hollywood itself.
Now you see me.
You know what I mean.
That first kiss.
At the center of this unfolding storm were Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, two well-known figures whose professional collaboration turned into one of the most talked-about disputes in recent years. The controversy revolved around the film It Ends With Us, based on the best-selling novel by Colleen Hoover.
What are you doing in Boston?
I opened my flower shop.
The story itself dealt with emotionally heavy themes, focusing on a woman trapped in an abusive relationship. Blake Lively took on the challenging lead role, while Justin Baldoni directed the film but also starred in it. On the surface, everything seemed like a standard Hollywood production. The film was released in August 2024.
If one day you had a daughter, what would you say to her?
And performed well commercially, drawing attention from both fans of the novel and general audiences. But behind closed doors, tensions had already begun to build. What appeared to be a successful collaboration was, in reality, far more complicated. Reports suggest that during filming, disagreements and discomfort began to surface. At first, these issues remained private, discussed quietly among cast and crew. But as time went on, those whispers grew louder. What no one expected was just how far things would escalate.
I didn't ever want my bias as a man to infiltrate or hurt the project in any way. Because the one thing that I don't know...
By the end of 2024, the situation had completely transformed. What started as internal conflict was now on the verge of becoming a public legal war. And once it entered the legal system, there was no turning back. The case would soon involve not just the two stars, but legal teams, publicists, media outlets, and millions of spectators watching from around the world. This was no longer just about a film. It was about power, control, and reputation in one of the most influential industries on the planet. Accusations, counterclaims, and escalation in December 2024. The situation took a dramatic turn when Blake Lively filed a formal complaint with California's Civil Rights Department. Her allegations against Justin Baldoni were serious and detailed. She accused him of creating a hostile work environment during the filming process. According to her claims, Baldoni made inappropriate comments about her appearance.
Justin Baldoni is back in the headlines after this week's court hearing.
And crossed professional boundaries by sharing explicit details about his personal life. She also alleged that she was pressured into filming scenes she felt uncomfortable performing. These accusations quickly gained attention, as they touched on issues that Hollywood has been forced to confront more openly in recent years. But the story didn't end there. Lively further claimed that after she raised her concerns, Baldoni and his team responded with a calculated effort to damage her reputation. She described it as a coordinated smear campaign, alleging that crisis publicists were used to spread negative narratives about her across both traditional media and social platforms.
Filed by actor Justin Baldoni in response to the paper's December article about his troubles on set with his It Ends With Us co-star Blake Lively. The article detailed Lively's sexual harassment complaint filed with the state of California, as well as...
What made this case even more unusual was the decision not to settle quietly. In Hollywood, disputes of this nature are often resolved behind closed doors. But this time, everything played out in public. By January 2025, according to his legal team, the couple used their influence to interfere with the production. When those efforts allegedly failed, he claimed they retaliated with damaging accusations. The conflict quickly escalated beyond a simple dispute. Multiple lawsuits were filed. Publicists and legal representatives became deeply involved. Even major media organizations were pulled into the situation. What began as a workplace complaint had now turned into a full-scale legal battle with millions of dollars at stake. Industry shockwaves and digital warfare as the case unfolded. It began to expose deeper issues within Hollywood. For decades, The industry has relied on private settlements and non-disclosure agreements to handle sensitive matters, but this case refused to stay hidden. Every new development, every allegation, and every legal filing became public. This level of transparency was unusual, and it forced the industry to confront uncomfortable truths. One of the key debates centered around workplace standards. Baldoni's defense argued that filmmaking often involves sensitive and emotionally intense discussions, especially in stories dealing with relationships and trauma. They suggested that some level of personal conversation is part of the creative process. However, critics pushed back, pointing out that expectations have changed significantly, especially after the global impact. What may have once been tolerated was no longer acceptable. Another critical issue was employment classification. Blake Lively had been working as an independent contractor rather than a traditional employee. This distinction had major legal implications. In 2026, a judge dismissed several of her harassment claims based on this classification, highlighting a gap in existing labor laws. But perhaps the most disturbing aspect of the case involved allegations of digital manipulation.
Baldoni's legal team is questioning the strength of Lively's case and calling for a dismissal. The judge now weighing whether to grant that request or to allow a trial that, for now, is scheduled for May.
Lively claimed that Baldoni's team used social media strategically to shape public opinion. She described the existence of a digital army, a coordinated effort to spread negative narratives about her online. According to her, content was deliberately created and amplified to portray her as difficult and unreliable. In response,
taking legal action against Justin Baldoni, her co-star and director of the movie It Ends With Us. Lively accusing Baldoni of sexual harassment on set and also alleging he waged a smear campaign.
She attempted to gather data from social media platforms to identify those allegedly involved in these campaigns. This part of the case revealed something bigger. In the modern era, reputation battles are no longer fought only in courtrooms. They are fought online, in real time, across millions of screens. Consequences in the future of Hollywood. As the lawsuit continued, its impact became impossible to ignore. Production companies began reviewing their policies, particularly around insurance coverage for misconduct claims. Studios started reconsidering how to ensure safer working environments on set. Even though many of Lively's claims were dismissed in April 2026, the case was far from over. Some legal aspects remained active, and the reputational damage had already been done. For both sides, the consequences were significant. Regardless of the final legal outcome, public perception had shifted. Careers, relationships, and professional opportunities were all affected. The case also highlighted the immense cost of pursuing such legal battles. Legal fees, public scrutiny, and emotional stress made it clear that even powerful celebrities face serious risks when taking disputes to court. On a broader level, this lawsuit represents a turning point for Hollywood. It challenges the industry's long-standing reliance on secrecy and controlled narratives. At its core, the case raises a critical question. How can Hollywood balance creative freedom with a safe and respectful working environment? The answer is still unclear. But one thing is certain: this case has already changed how these conversations happen. It has forced the industry to become more transparent, more accountable, and more aware of the power dynamics at play. Whether this leads to real, lasting change or simply fades into another headline remains to be seen. But for now, all eyes are still watching. Behind the scenes tension as more details began to surface. Insiders started painting a clearer picture of what may have happened during the production of It Ends With Us.
The judge then responded. He said this, quote, "A whole bunch of little things can add up to a big thing," end quote. What do you make of that argument and the judge's response?
While public statements remained controlled and carefully worded, anonymous sources hinted at growing tension between key members of the cast and crew. Filmmaking, especially when dealing with emotionally intense material, often requires actors to step into deeply vulnerable spaces. In this case, the story itself revolved around trauma, abuse, and complicated relationships. That alone created an environment where boundaries needed to be clearly defined and respected. However, according to allegations, those boundaries may have become blurred. Reports suggested that disagreements over how certain scenes should be performed led to uncomfortable situations on set. Questions began to emerge. Where should the line be drawn between artistic direction and personal comfort? Some crew members reportedly felt
Blake Lively says she wants to pull back the curtain on sinister tactics used to harm people who speak up about misconduct.
unsure of how to respond as tensions escalated. In an industry where speaking out can risk future opportunities,